talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Poor man pikin, dey the street, they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun diary politico. Oh, yo, yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo.
Let be poor, breathe. Don't suffocate them. We have that responsibility.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun live.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary, Mayegun kọ́kọ́. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
There is good news now, but how to access that good news is the problem. But there is good news.
Bó bá ṣe rere, àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun kọ́kọ́.
Let be poor, breathe. Don't suffocate them. We have that responsibility.
Share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Remember, see, invite the Buhari Dins, the Buhari Didirins, the Buhari Dinotus, the Buhari Dijatus, the Buhari Shukus, the Ungoziaris, the Unekaharis, the obedient fools, the sophisticated morons, and the humbled slaves from the clans of the Buhari idiots. Don't forget the Lagos Abobakus, the Oshogbo Alimajiris, the crump eaters, the crump chasers, the all risers. I am talking about the bat idiots. Tell them, where am I going today?
Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn láìpẹ́. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ba bá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùn láìpẹ́. Mayegun ti dé. Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa bí. Àní ẹ̀sùn láìpẹ́.
Read the caption of this broadcast. Read the description as well, right? Share it. Like it. Even subscribe if you haven't already. Then sit back, relax. We go start soon.
Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Ayé ẹ̀sùn láti. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Ayé ẹ̀sùn láti. Òkúra olóṣèlú. Ayé ẹ̀sùn láti. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn láti. Mayegun ti dé. Ayé ẹ̀sùn láti. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé.
Thank you. So, good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live. The rider for this broadcast is the enraged Nigerians against Peter Obi. Now, the rage started when Peter Obi tweeted about the insecurity in the northern part and all over Nigeria. So they dragged him. What about the southeast of Nigeria? Have you not heard about the sit-at-home? Have you not seen how they are just killing people as they are just doing this and that? Peter Obi now came out and he said, well, IPOB publicly said they did not order any sit-at-home. And if there are criminals who are enforced, meanwhile, sit-at-home is a protest on the part of the people. But if there are people who are enforcing people who don't want to sit at home, then they should be dealt with or more. Come and see rage. They said that Peter Obi is IPOB apologies, this and that. Look at all the killings going on. The Eastern Nigeria is no longer livable and all the nonsense. But guess what? You are here 2 days ago when we were talking about over 1,000 Nigerians they have killed since this Tinubu came in. Abi, there were no rich. The insecurity in Eastern Nigeria, politically motivated, as it's very much documented, has shown the collaboration of the government of Nigeria, the politicians of the eastern part of Nigeria, behind the restlessness and the insecurity in eastern part of Nigeria. But guess what? The eastern part of Nigeria is still considered, by report and fact, the second safest place in Nigeria based on data of how people died or kidnapped in the last 2 months, pre and post Tinubu. But the impression is that the Eastern Nigeria right now, everywhere now sit at home, they are just killing, they are this and that, and the rage is not on the government of Nigeria that has failed to protect the lives and properties of supposed Nigerians. Not them. It is against a politician who contested for the position of president. Their rage was on him, and they started picking his words. However, ladies and gentlemen, before we go into all of the tidbits and all of that, let's kind of take a look at data. Nigeria is a killing field for different kinds of terrorists. And from the available data, they are all over Nigeria right now. Nigerians are dying violently in the hands of different criminals. But the people who are, the region that is facing this bloody, massacre, have somehow been, I wouldn't say forgotten, but the killing in, okay, I'll show you something. Here is what their data actually shown. Sometimes I think in March or so, March, I come. Give me a sec. So, across Nigeria, this was April, okay? Now, if you take a look at the numbers of those who died violently in this part of, on this map, 6 regions you have in Nigeria, okay? Even southwest Nigeria that has bled, that are people, 12.1% of the recorded death is from southwest Nigeria. These are the chunk of the Lagos Abobakus, okay, who want to make you believe IPOB is a terrorist organization. Just accept it. Eastern Nigeria is no longer livable. If you go a little bit down, in that death ratio, in April alone, 20% in Northeast, 25% Northwest, 27% North Central, South 6.1%, Southeast 8.2%. You see? Now, if you take a further look, here is for another month. This is Angono. Yeah, this is May. Fatality by region. Here is another data. For whatever they must have made you believe about the eastern part of Nigeria, or what you have believed yourself, well, here is data. The data says that in May, those who got killed by terrorists or violently in Nigeria, by death sharing, Southeast Nigeria is the least place where people actually died because of violent crimes and all of that. Yeah? Take a look at Southwest. then south-south, then go up north, northwest, northeast, north central. North central is the middle belt part of Nigeria that has bled more since Tinubu came on board. Now, I think I have another one that actually has numbers. Okay, take a look at this one. Just a moment, too. Right. So by number, in March this year, over 72 people were kidnapped in southwest Nigeria. 9 people died in the hands of those kidnappers. In south-south, 44 people were kidnapped. 32 died in the process. In the southeast of Nigeria, 38 people were kidnapped or got caught up in any violent attacks. 4 people died, right? Now, if you go to northwest, okay, in their own, those who got abducted and those who died, see the numbers, see the margin. Guess those who came from northwest. You'll be hearing the names like Kwakwanso, the names like Atifku. But I don't think people are enraged that much, yeah? Or whether they see anything or they don't see anything at all. Northeast, see the number. The casualty from northwest. No, I know. I'm just saying that look at the statistics, look at the numbers of how least or how much, how safe or how unsafe Nigeria has been by regions using numbers. Anyway, we have that. And going forward, they said Peter Obi, or should I say IPOB, all right, is more kind of violent than those who are kind of picking their dead bodies on the, you know what I mean? But however, the rage is not against the government. So to say, the rage is more against Obi that they said is shielding IPOB. Here is something. This one is a paper cut or newspaper, cut. You get? One sec. There was a time that, Tinubu was talking about the activities of the IPOB. And he said, in all honesty, they shouldn't be blamed. If everybody should look into the marginalization or whatever that led to what is going on in the eastern part of Nigeria. They were not violent, by the way. Here, this was a while back. I'm talking about those who have actually managed, to be honest, with what is going on in eastern Nigeria, and those who knows the political hands behind all of this too, right? Now, there was no rage. Don't condemn IPOB. Well, here is a statement. I'm just going back a bit now, just for the record, before we go fully into tonight. In December, was it December or January? I think it was in January this year when Peter Obi came to Chatham House, and he was asked to condemn the activities of the IPOB. On record, I'll play you this.
On the issue of IPOB, maybe you're not following me. Even yesterday, I spoke about Biafra being ended 53 years ago. It's all over the place in this space. I condemn all agitators, but in condemning them, you have to look at what brought about these agitations all over the place. It's not only IPOB. We have Yoruba Nation movement. We have all sorts. When you have created this level of massive poverty, where 63% of your population is poor, you're going to create all sorts of problems. I was speaking to a British minister this morning. I said we have about 40% unemployment. And we have about 60% youth unemployment. Young people in their productive age doing nothing. If you have 15% unemployment in Britain today, you're going to have massive, remember, agitation. Nobody will be able to leave his house. So what you're seeing is a cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years, which will be solved by good governance. When people start seeing justice, fairness, an inclusive government and doing the right thing, all those things will start reversing itself. And that is what me and that is offering. I will talk and discuss with all agitators. There's nothing wrong in that. People agitate even in my house, and I talk with them. So I'll deal with everybody. I'll show you of that. Don't worry about that. On issue
we are now witnessing today is the usual ones. It's called the, diversionary tactics. Okay. Nigeria is melting. No. Nigeria is burning from every corner, every angle. The guys who have managed to take charge of, to take over the reign of power in Nigeria, they are not doing anything to reverse that. In fact, it is more or less like finding yourself in a hole, okay? And you continue digging. So you see all this rage, is called diversionary tactic. And I've seen that before. Sure you get. If you are so enraged, although somehow the, the increasing violence that these guys are sort of, bringing up here and there, and, altercations here and there as well, as somehow kind of brought the attention of the ruling class in Nigeria once again to the eastern Nigeria. It happened during Bokwari's time. Okay? The same way, it was like playing it exactly how they wanted it to go. Now they have a chance. The military in Nigeria and the rest of them, they have started mobilizing to the eastern Nigeria right now, okay? In the name of looking for IPOB. We know how that went the last time, okay? And we know that the intention is actually not to, bring, sanity or peace to eastern Nigeria. It is an effort to dominate, to show dominance, to show kind of, things that are in no way bring about unity. I have seen that before, okay? Bokwari started it. He looked for excuses, it shows that his own didn't start this early, right? But however this goes, we know how it's going to end, because the intention primarily is not to bring any peace, progress, or whatever to eastern Nigeria. It is to escalate it. And as at today, or should I say as at last month, June, eastern part of Nigeria, from all record, showed that it is still the second safest place in Nigeria today. The safest region with less violence today is southwest Nigeria. Next is southeast Nigeria. The next is south Nigeria. And then you go back up north. North central is boiling. You know that. But the rage is focused there, and the military, as usual, of course, they will resume their catch and release, catch and grab, and the rest that they've been doing under the cover of they were looking for IPOB. But remember, during their campaign, Tinubu said he would negotiate with all of the agitators too. He did say that. He said he will listen to them, listen to everybody, but we know he's never going to do that. All right. I mean, the traits and everything is shown so far. Number one has shown that he's not interested in eastern Nigeria. Those politicians and the rest of them who have elections, see, in eastern part of Nigeria right now, especially in Owerri, Imo State, they have elections sometimes in November or so, which is going to increase the tension, and they will increase the tension of their different political attacks, and they're going to drop it on the doorstep of IPOB. Fortunately, those who are kind of nudging them on, who couldn't kind of put a restraint and read the room. Sure you get. So Tinubu is not interested in eastern Nigeria. If there is anything they are interested in, is to escalate it and further destroy the economy of eastern Nigeria. It seems working. It worked for Bokwari. It is. They are setting the stage for Tinubu as well. But if you have any rage, let us be sincere, okay? The only time I believe, okay, you can be so angry with Peter Obi, is when he is your president. When he becomes your president, And then he is unable to provide security for the people of Northeast, Northwest, Southwest, Southeast, Southwhere, South there, wherever. If he's unable to provide, then you hold him responsible. But we have seen this before. For 8 solid years, they blamed everybody for the failure of insecurity in Nigeria, except Bokwari. When Bokwari was about to leave, they started blaming him. We have seen that before. Tinubu is your president. He has appointed service chiefs. And any life that is lost in any part of Nigeria, the blood is on him. Although today, unfortunately, I was talking to a friend earlier today, and we were just talking about things generally. Then our conversation now led to Nigeria and things happening in Nigeria. And we said, do you know that things have gotten so bad that people no longer have any reasonable conversation anymore? People cannot have clearer, sincere, reasonable, unbiased conversation, especially when it comes to Nigeria, because a lot of the people now see things, they see things from the lenses of their ethnic, tribe, and religious, whatever, no matter how much they pretended to hide it. And I said, Baba, that is not going to leave Nigeria ever again. It is like a journey of no return. It is never going to leave Nigeria. It was like, Omo, it's true. Any small thing now, the first thing they will look at is, who is he Igbo, or is he Yoruba, or is he Hausa? That will determine how they are going to see the issue, not exactly for what it is. And these damages done by Tinubu is about to be a sort of a rewarding ticket for those who once believed that Tinubu will wreck Nigeria. And they kind of rose against that, or his emergence. You have heard about the government of national unity, Abi? Okay. They did not popularize it too much anymore. Okay. The government of national unity, I did tell you that. Let me remind you. During their charade campaign, when I was analyzing how they are going to rig you, how you will go to court, then how they are going to say, okay, fine, the election was rigged, but for the sake of national unity, we cannot cancel the election. You, Mr. Tinubu, be humble in victory. Oh yeah, offer all these people, offer them jobs too. Bring them to your government, and they call it government of national unity. So when they muted that, you remember that time when they were talking to Peter Obi to withdraw his case? Part of the conversation then was like, you will send people to people and say, you Atiku, you will be, listen, I'm ready to offer you. Tell me what you like to take. Tell me what you want and all of that. If you want me to pay back all of the expenses of your campaign, I'll pay that. Or if you want me to give you or any of your guys appointment in my government, I'll do that, okay? So that you can just withdraw the case and I can concentrate on governance and all that. They do that behind the scene when election has so much wahala like this. So around that time, they said Obi didn't kind of look their side. Atiku, they don't even get a chance of getting closer to him. Here you get. So they now went around Atiku. They started looking for people who matter within Atiku's camp. Okay, started talking to them. What can we give to you? What would you like? Remember this and So around Peter Obi, they are doing the same thing too. Talking to people here, like, come, he's ready to offer you a minister. He's ready to offer you this and that. Okay, just talk to him and the rest. So when that didn't kind of work at the early stage, or there was no conclusion or something like that, that was when they played the card of a papa, Lamidi Pampas. So when they played the card of a Pampas, and that one seems not to also fly, it didn't matter anymore. So they are back to the normal route, walk around the candidates. There are already rumors. Atiku came out a few days ago and he said, Tinubu is offering people around him ministerial appointments, that they should leave Atiku and come to him. Here you get. Some have accepted, and you will hear their name in Tinubu's ministerial list. Around Peter Obi, there is already ripe rumor. So they also raised an alarm a few days ago that Tinubu is offering people around them ministerial appointments, board appointments, and all those things. And they want them to say yes before Tinubu will submit the name. So from yesterday, we have heard that from Peter Obi's camp, somebody, okay, Marco could tell you, say, na rumor. They said that somebody inside Peter Obi's camp, in fact, 2 people inside Peter Obi's camp have accepted to be ministers under Tinubu. See, you don't have to take this for what it is, okay? It's just, until the names start coming out, Abby. So Patutomi has been fingered. Remember the last time they said Tinubu gave Patutomi money? He had to come out publicly to debunk that. There was no evidence, there was nothing. It was a rumor, and it sort of ended up as a rumor, Abby. That rumor is back now. This time around, they are mentioning Doyin Okupe, Patutomi. You see these two, except they publicly come out to say, you know what I mean, like, I don't want. The impression is that they have accepted. And you shouldn't be surprised if their names are mentioned as part of names they will forward to the Senate and all that. But remember what I said from the beginning. It is a rumor. And in politics, sometimes it could be, as it is a rumor, it could be an avenue, an opportunity for them to say, see the reactions of people here and there and say, no, I don't want to. Here you get. But talking about that, there is this press conference from the Labour Party themselves around this. And they are so confident that the court is going to remove Tinubu. They are so confident. They said, well, it might have not happened before in Nigeria, but it's going to be removed by the court. So whatever offer is given to them, all this olive and all of that is passing on to them. Carrot and all they don't want. From their own press conference. Please, let's watch this.
Nigeria. This aspiration and conviction was further reinforced by his choice of Dr. Yusuf Gati Baba Ahmed, an astute educator, businessman, former legislator, and a brand new breed politician on the 8th of July 2022 as his vice presidential candidate to very loud. However, in the dramatic sequence of events, our endless entry into the political race has resulted in an explosion of excitement across the vastness of Nigeria, in the diaspora, and indeed the global community. This has been lovingly and organically expressed in his overwhelming acceptance by the people of Nigeria through the robust and endearing presentation of his record, personality, vision, policies, and promise. There is no doubt that this ascendancy of a presidential ticket to prime position in the hearts and minds of Nigerian people has been fueled by the patriotic zeal, vibrancy, creativity, and shining example in discipline, character, and decency of the obedient movement. It has today rapidly evolved into the biggest voluntary political movement in the history of Nigeria ever. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in just about 4 months only, this organic and massive structured movement consisting of Nigerians from all walks of life, from varying backgrounds and circumstances of life, from the young and not so young, from professionals, vocations and occupations of all variations, and from every region, nook and corner of the country, have set a record in political mobilization, in organization, loyalty, not experienced in recent history of Nigeria. Unknown to many, a significant number of the youth and drivers of this movement are active members and supporters of other political parties, such as APC, PDP, and others, who do not ignore the apparent superiority in leadership quality, personal disposition, national appeal, private and public service record, and the clear-cut expression of vision and governance solutions which Peter Obi and Shukrati Baba Ahmed have come to represent for all true lovers of progress and national pride. So it is significant to observe and also to underline that the repeated movement has today risen above religion, risen above ethnicity, risen above political affiliation, and all such narrow sentiments to become a truly national movement of Nigerians. Prepared. As for the APC, their presidential candidacy is fundamentally flawed. You hear me? It is fundamentally flawed. Through the adoption of a skewed and insensitive Muslim ticket. In tennis, this is called unforced error. Despite all objections across religious lines in a highly religiously sensitive country like Nigeria, at a time when all reason calls for majority, fairness, equity, justice, and balance for the good of the country failed. When we stand against the Muslim ticket, we are not introducing religion into politics. We are trying to take religion out of politics. I deserve the clap. I said I should clap for myself. And it is important that the ultimate and potential possibility of a major political separation and division, which are the natural accompanying negative tendencies that follows institutionalized insensitivity and tolerance by this singular act. This is why, in response to this affront to good judgment, more than at any time in our history, our country today is witnessing our hottest, fiercest, and most dynamic citizen-led political experience, spearheaded largely by the youth population. This dynamism is worth reflecting upon because it is not only novel in our history, but also lies at the crux of our country's direction and ultimate destination in the nearest future. Today, as we commence the campaign of the 2023 round of elections, the registered voter population figure has tripled since 2019, and over 60% of the nearly 100 million registered voters today consists of the youthful population.
Yes, so
again, the most remarkable organic, self-funded movement at the vanguard of the political temperature in the present time, the new Nigerian movement, is made up of this same youthful population. In fact, beyond contest, that is the movement, beyond contest, that this movement has taken.
Let me put it on note and I'll show you the other parts. So at that conference, they were calling for the sack and the arrest of Mamudu Yakubu, the N8k chairman, right? And at the same time, they are telling their supporters not to waver, that you see this rumor about election rerun and all of that is not coming from them, okay? Because the real people pushing the rumor for a rerun or kind of pushing for a rerun mostly is the Atiku's people. Because when the issue of this, they are 25% in Abuja, FCT or not, comes up for conversation or whatever, for argument, it's always like a defeatist one for the likes of Atiku, right? So they were telling their members that it is, what do you call it? It is a clear declaration of Obi or nothing else. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point in hoping on a rerun election that you already won. right? Anyway, I'll show you more of that soon. Now, that takes me back to this. When people were asking Obi himself, sometimes in that Shutter House, like, Nigeria is so messed up, right? The rogues have already taken, it's like the lunatics have already taken over the asylum, okay? The looting has begun, by the way, and that's actually the chunk part of this conversation tonight. But again, how is it going to kind of operate within this shark, even if a court declare him winner, like they did when he was declared the winner in Anambra by the court, right? Now, I had this to say, just a flashback, then we'll come back to today.
First question is, how do you deal with the legislators, considering that Labour Party is probably not in control of the legislative arm of the government? Quite frankly, I've been through this as a governor. When I was elected and sworn in as the governor, I have 30 House members, not from my party. In fact, nobody from my party was involved. As long as you are pursuing what is right, everybody will go with you, because the legislator is insecure in his place. He knows that his people are without job, and that's what he wants. He wants development. What else is he elected to do? It becomes a problem when you are pursuing transactional policies, which will benefit you, or you are engaging in nepotism where you have to. But if you address it by strictly following the Constitution, which spells out that the system is characterized by simply that we have diversity and all is included, and you do the right things, you don't need to worry about that. On the issue of IPOB, maybe you're not following me. Even yesterday, I spoke about Biafra being ended 53 years ago. It's all over the place in the space. I condemn all agitators, but in condemning them, you have to look at what brought about these agitations all over the place. It's not only IPOB. We have Yoruba Nation movement. We have all sorts. When you have created this level of massive poverty, where 63% of your population is poor, you're going to create all sorts of problems. I was speaking to a British minister this morning. I said we have about 40% unemployment. And we have about 60% youth unemployment.
Tinubu is your president. And the first announcement, just 5 minutes after he was sworn in, was to remove a subsidy with no further explanation. And for over 40 days now, you have been wallowing in that economic hardship, okay? No explanation. Even within that 41 or 40 days, these guys have already increased their own salaries by 114%. That was when the bribery started, but they were not done. Now, 40 days after, Tinubu has written the same National Assembly, asking them that the suffering of Nigerians that he promised to assuage, the suffering has gotten so bad. And to cushion the effects, he would need 500 billion naira to cushion the effect of that hardship. Now, that arrangement means, according to them, you remember when they said something about student loan? And I came here to tell you that, na lie, na scam. When they eventually launch it, it's going to be like your N-Power and all of that. You know what I mean? Just job for the boys and billions for the crooks. You will never see it. But there will be a lasting destruction to your education system in Nigeria. They will leave. I haven't finished saying that. When the schools that knows how hard things are in Nigeria right now started increasing their school fees, including those ones that you only pay maintenance fees, you're not going to be paying school fees. 200% increase in this Nigeria because of student loan, right? So Tinubu wrote the National Assembly. It would need 500 billion. And they want to share that 500 billion naira to 12 million families. Okay? Sounds good, yeah? Bokwari, on the eve of leaving, handing over to Tinubu, requested, should I say, borrowed $800 million. And he said he was going to share that money to the poorest Nigerians. But he couldn't do it before he left. So Tinubu wrote to the National Assembly and said, I'm going to need 500 billion. Remember, the subsidy we are not paying is about 4 trillion naira. And according to them, remember, they already saved over 400 billion first month that Tinubu removed subsidy. So why would he need another 500 billion when he already saved 400? Does that mean that he need 900 billion? I don't know. It's a scam. You see that $800 million World Bank loan? 500 billion naira from it means about, well, they said the entire money is actually 819 billion naira. So taking 500 billion from that money in the name of sharing 88,000 naira to the poorest families in Nigeria. A lot of you remember that Bokwari actually opened a shop for his former girlfriend, Shadia, and they called the office the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Humanitarian whatever. That was the office that was sharing 500 billion a year to poorest Nigerians that nobody knows. You know what I mean? 500 billion naira. There is no portal. There is no means of identification or registration that is open. It is just the number selected photo up here and there, and the money is gone. But this time around, Tinubu said they want to give it to 12 million households. It's more or less like saying if the household is 6, Papa, Mama, Peking, according to them, that's going to be about 6 members of household. 72 million Nigerians will collect 8,000 naira. Not each. 6 people will collect 8,000 naira in a house every month for the next 6 months. When we started doing the math, ladies and gentlemen, we realized that if that should be the case, Tinubu will be requesting for 500 billion naira almost every 2 months to pay these 12 million families across Nigeria. They said you will collect this money for 6 months. Your household will collect 8,000 naira, which is in today's black market, $10. So they will give a family of 6, a family of 4, or a household of, a household of 6. They will give them $10 every month for 6 months. So the fraud here is this. Is asking them to amend the 2023 Appropriation Act, which is your budget for 2023. Now, in that budget, Bokwari said it was going to, the budget was about 22 or 23 trillion naira. The original budget was about 17 trillion. When they said they had to put subsidy in it, they added subsidy and it came to 23 trillion. But by the time Bokwari was leaving, Tinubu told the entire Nigeria publicly that there was no provision for subsidy. Subsidy was gone. You know what I mean? When in fact, their 2023 budget says they will spend 4-point-something trillion on subsidy. So if it's going to be a good math from, 4 trillion that is no longer paying to faceless people, and they are saving that, then they're going to give you, 8,000 naira, which is more or less like from the 500 billion. So they're going to need about 1.5 trillion to at least pay you 8,000 naira for 6 months. Or you are just going to be like, you're just going to hear about it. you are never going to touch it because that would never, it won't be for you. It will be. What they usually do, let me tell you, is this. Once the money is now ready, okay, what they will do is they will now call all of the APC members all over Nigeria. Are you listening? They will now tell all of them to go and put down their names. Anybody they feel like should benefit in their community and all that. So APC members. So they will write their names. All right. And then they will give them conditions. So you see that 8,000 naira. At the end of the day, those poor people that will get the money from their APC party secretariat across Nigeria. Those are the Nigerians that will get the money, by the way. All right. APC. Now, at the end of the day, they may not get more than 2,000 naira from that 8,000 naira you hear. You have heard about 8,000 naira, B. By the time that money gets to the hand of those poor people, it will probably be 2,000 naira. And from that 500 billion naira, if they share 50 billion from that money, make a break. Are you listening to me? If they share 50 billion, 10% of that money to poor people for real in Nigeria, ma bend. So we know the drill. You know what I mean? For almost 6 years, Bokwari was giving his girlfriend Shadia 500 billion. One ministry in Nigeria, humanitarian ministry that is only sharing money. They have more budgets than education in Nigeria. Ministry of Humanitarian, their budget is more than that of education. It's more than that of healthcare. I'm not joking. It's like an open shop business. If Tinubu don't discover them. The next thing now, they may just bring the Ministry of Humanitarian, they will bring it under Remi Werekwe as a mother. So she will be able to oversee it. She's already started Renewed Hope initiative of First Lady. She will need money. And that's how this scam will start. Transactional government, transactional politics. Remember, the list of those who are there, who are supposed to ask how this is actually going to work for them to explain. They would rather, let me see if I still have that clip. Hang on. I think it's this one. Or maybe it's another one anyway. Okay. Now, for those of you who have read the news of your 500 billion naira palliative, before they approve your 500 billion, that's likely 10% of it will never touch your hands, right? These guys also including their own thing there. They say Ministry of Works should take 185 billion. You see, Federal Ministry of Agriculture should take 19 billion. Destruction. Listen to that. I said, Federal Ministry of Agriculture to ameliorate the massive destruction to farmlands across the country during the severe flooding experienced last year, 19 billion. 35 billion to the National Judicial Council. The judiciary also collected their own share from the bazaar, 35 billion. The National Assembly, which no, they say FCT, Abuja, for critical project. What is critical project? 10 billion naira. It's not stated though. It's part of what the Assembly approved. I mean, National Assembly approved though. 70 billion to National Assembly to support the working conditions of new members. 70 billion naira for 360 House of Reps members, 109 senators, 469 human beings, in order for their working condition, they will give them 70 billion. Remember what I told you then that, you know, a lot of those who are your lawmakers, APC, PDP, Labour, Accord, ABGA, whatever, and all that, the moment they get into the National Assembly, they will become hustlers. Hustlers in the sense that you will first fight for juicy positions, committee, so that you can be there when everybody is bringing their budget. You know, they call it budget defense. And if the executive needs something, they have to think about you too as lawmakers. You are not going to just approve. They have to, And as they normally do, when this whole thing started, I told you, they said they need to give the new lawmakers, each of them, at least 50 million naira to go and look for where to live, which house, so that when you get the house and all of that, you are settled down. Sure, you get. Then we need to talk about how much you'll be collecting to furnish the house, and other stuff. So that's 70 billion. Now for 470 people. And the 500 billion is for 72 million of you. How is that fair? You see, normally, when you know that you want to have a palliative for people, the way you would do it is that you let them go and access it themselves. Those who need, go to your local government and register, or job center and register. Go to this so and so and register. Take them there and register them, and then if they have to open bank accounts for them or anything, you know what I mean. Like, you can even use it. It's government money, 500 billion for 12 million households. So if you open 12 million bank account for them, that is your data on this 12 million. If the money is really for them, the 500 billion will be in an account, and all of these 12 million accounts, they will be linked to this bigger account where the money goes to. You know what I mean? So everybody that is kind of attached to it, you know where every penny goes to. But in Nigeria, that's now it works. 10% of the money will not touch the hand of those who need them. You know that. But you see, just less than 500 people will take 70 billion. That's not their salary or anything. No. This is just to help them settle down. 470 people to settle down. So many of them are already members of National Assembly. A lot of them have properties all over Abuja, but they will still collect all of that because they are lawmakers. Here you get. And as for Kolu will get what he wants. They will get what they want. And the rest of you can continue to go and pray for better Nigeria, or pray for your leaders to deliver Nigeria. A deja vu. Is that not what is called deja vu? It's a deja vu. The Tinubu over the weekend, right, hosted the former governors. They called them the 1999 sets. Okay, these were governors who were governors from 1999 to 2007 or so. So he played host to them, and your $250 million jailbird is now a golden boy in the villa. I mean, it's good to see them back, Abi. So Ibori is now one of the kingmakers, and as it stands, they are now forming the board of advisors to Tinubu in the villa. And even one of them decided to be the spokesperson, and is also another retired or reactivated thief. Do you remember him? This one.
He wants us to also let you know that the decisions that he has taken so far might be painful, but it's just like a childbirth. In order to celebrate a child, you must go through labor. Therefore, Nigerians should wait patiently and believe in him that he's going to come up with palliatives that will put a smile on the faces of every one of us in Nigeria.
That's the former governor of Edo State, Lucky Igbinedion. And this one too, remember.
I had a very wonderful time with the president. You seem very alert and very clear in the direction he wants to take the country. But he can't do it alone. He needs all of us. Whosoever is on this saddle is Nigeria on the saddle, and we must stand by him. We must give our best. And I want to tell you that people like me, others like Governor Wike and Governor Makinde and other wonderful Nigerians, we have made up our mind that it is better to stand with a man of vision and to stand with Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu for the betterment of our country. That is why I'm here. Let me start with the first one. The last one. Let me say again unequivocally, I've said it in several fora, I will never be a member of the APC. I am a PDP man. If anything takes me out of the PDP, or if I don't do partisan politics again, I will be the husband of my wife at home. It is not a matter of party. Nigeria is bigger than all political parties and all interest groups. And I want to tell you again, you don't have to take an appointment to make a difference. Nigeria is about 200 million population. We all can be in appointment. Whosoever makes it, either in the APC or in an attempt to have a government of national unity, it's all about service. May I say to you expressly, I am not a desperate person at all. But I don't shy away, and I will never shy away to give direction wherever I am. I am with this government without apologies. Majority in the past can tell you, even when I was a sitting governor in Ekiti, I've always spoken well of Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. I never knew today would come. And may I say to you, the agenda that I joined in the G5 to pursue is to have a Southern president. Today, a Southern president has emerged, and we're all with him. Lastly, I don't know if I have answered the three questions. Thank you. Well, I want to say to you that Nigerians know me very well when President Buhari was to come. From day one, I made it very clear that the president will not do well. I did not hide. I was open to it, and I say it repeatedly. May I say to you, sir, ladies and gentlemen of the press, let me tell you, if Asiwaju turns back on his promise, all he said when he was campaigning, I will be the first to talk. I am not timid, and I don't shy away from facing challenges. But the man I have seen today, I don't eulogize and I don't praise to curry favor. I am no more a small boy. Let me tell you, the man I saw today, and for the actions we have seen, means well for Nigeria. But if there's any reason to derail, it will not be deliberate. And we will all be able to draw his attention to his brief as the President and Commander-in-Chief of our country. Let us be optimistic, let us be hopeful, and let us believe that there will be a turnaround. We are already in the opposition, sir. Sorry? I'm doing more than opposition. If the government in power is not doing the right thing, we'll be courageous enough to tell the government in power. That was why I told you, when Buhari was president in this country, I didn't shy away from telling him the truth and the government. And may I say to you, I said it here, that if the president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, is shying away from his brief, Ayofayoshe Oshoku will be courageous enough to tell him. You see, I'm 63, I'm not a small boy anymore.
Fayoshe, among those who are now regulars around the Tinubu, and it does seem trying to make it like, you know what, if I don't get the attention or anything I want at some point, I will talk you. But he said that Tinubu is making some amazing decisions, blah, 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 blah. Well, you heard him. So Kalu himself. There's this lady called Betty, what's her name again? Betty Edu. You know that lady that is always dancing on Tinubu's campaign stage? The one that's always mostly doing the interpreter sometimes, of what, well, she wants to be a minister, okay? And from, from the report, they said her name is already kind of pushed to be a minister, but she can't overdo now. She mobilized, she's the woman leader of APC, so she mobilized all the women from 36 states, allegedly, to go and sing for Kolu today. In the villa. See ya. And then Kolu met with them, okay? He did say a few things, and I think I have them on camera. But let's go into the all. A quick one.
The national anthem, please. Mr. President, Chief Dr. Beta Edu, the APC women.
National Woman Leader, APC. Thank you.
And then Assistant Coordinator.
To push the, the ministerial candidacy of Betty Edu. Better, I'll be better Edu, I'll be better Edu, I don't know. Meanwhile, she's already going to be a minister. Another person that is also, probably from what I heard, doesn't have to push anything is, what's her name again? Abike Dagboru. Like Abike Dagboru is also going to be a minister. Betty is going to be a minister, but you just can't take any chance. So she took people there. Yeah, it's Kolu talking to them in the Balabulu language. Listen, when I put this on, right? Don't go start listening like you want to hear something.